I don't know about you guys, but I've been spending my FAAB in fantasy football like a retired NBA player, man. I am dead broke at the moment. One of the best feelings in fantasy football is when you stash a player before the games, they pop off, or maybe the guy in front of them gets injured. You get to save your money, man. It's the best feeling. You can get guys like Woody Marks, like Kyren Williams a couple seasons ago. If you stash him before that game where he popped off, I want to help you guys save your FAAB dollars. We're going to be talking about some of my favorite week 6 waiver wire stashes. Make sure you guys pick these guys up, throw them at the end of your bench. If you have an extra spot, maybe you can move a guy into IR. It's one of my favorite strategies. Let's get into this video, guys. I know it sounds like a broken record, but you guys have to be picking up these high value handcuffs at this point in the season. We're seeing running backs go down left and right. This is kind of how fantasy football is, man. Every season, starting running backs just go down. Last season was weird. A lot of the older running backs just stayed healthy, but this time, make sure to pick up our handcuffs. I have a small little list for you guys here. Bam Knight, I have him at the top of this list simply because he got a little bit of work behind Michael Carter last week, so I see him as kind of like a dude where there's a chance he gets a little more work than usual, right? DeMarcado's probably going to get banished to the Shadow Realm. Kendre Miller is the next guy. Also, he's getting his own work, so he doesn't need a Kamara injury. He's getting early down work, right? And I'm seeing so many rumors about the fact that they might want to trade Alvin Kamara, so Kendre Miller is like a high priority guy. Bhashul Tuten, it's just such a good offense. The offensive line is playing so amazingly. They're 4-1 at the moment, so this is a team, man, where if something were to happen ETN, if you were to get traded, doesn't look likely that he's going to get traded, but if something were to happen, make sure you have him. And then I just have the rest of the guys listed, man. You guys can see him here. Isaiah Davis, Corum, Giddens, Algier. These are like your high value guys behind these really good O-lines or behind a guy who's maybe a little bit older. In the case of like a Will Shipley behind Saquon. I think we can't pick up Will Shipley anymore after the game last night, but this is the list. You guys can look through it. In my opinion, pick up your own handcuff for your own players. You just sleep a lot better at night, man, knowing that if your guy goes down, you're set, right? You don't have to be starting a bus stop Magoo like a Brashard Smith like I had to do last week, right? So let's now get into this video. I'm going to give you guys my favorite waiver wire stashes going into week 6. We're going to start this video with Jalen Coker. I love Coke. He practiced all week, but he hasn't been activated off of IR just yet, and there's a small chance that the team holds him out for one more week. They just maybe want to get him into game shape and that's why I have him as a stash. Even if he plays, I don't think I'd be comfortable starting him just yet. I want to see him one more week, or I want to see him a week as a full-time starter before I start trusting him in my lineups. And Tedero McMillan, he's been great on tape, but he hasn't really done much from a production point of view, right? Like this team is kind of starved for like a good wide receiver too. Xavier Leggett popped up last week for like a random touchdown, but otherwise he's kind of a bust. He's kind of just like a field stretcher. This team really needs like an intermediate guy. And that's exactly the role that Jalen Coker had last season. Matt Harmon does reception perception every offseason. He also does in-season charting and stuff. And this was Jalen Coker's 2024 perception. He's really good at pretty much all coverages, man. 70% success versus man, 78% against zone, 70% against press. Strong hands, contested catches. He's a very good wide receiver, man. For somebody who was, I believe, undrafted. I mean, he went to what? Holy Cross. What even is that? Is that even an actual school? So like, and then I want to show you guys one more chart. This is from 2024. This is all rookie wide receivers last season. Yards per route and targets per route. Jalen Coker was number 2 in yards per route run. So this dude, like statistically, that's a very good metric where we want to know if when he's out there running routes, is he getting production based on the routes? And then it's like a simple formula, right? If those routes go up, his production should go up. Right? Targets per route, 23%. That's fine. That's not like elite, right? Like a Lad McConkey was last season, or Malik Neighbors, 37% was insane. But Jalen Coker, dude, make sure you guys pick him up. You might be able to still stash him on your IR for one more week, which is exactly the type of stash that I personally love. If you can put him on your IR, dude, even better. I've had him on my IR for about 3 weeks, and I've been kind of hinting at people to pick him up. So make sure you guys pick up Coker. Let's move along now to Luther Burden. Listen, this is a very simple thesis. I don't think if the Bears somehow finish the season with Olamide Zaccheaus playing ahead of Luther Burden, I will literally give everyone who comments on this video 50 cents. I will Venmo you 50 cents. There's just absolutely no way. Every single season we see it, man. We see that rookies after the bye week, the team does some change-ups. They look at the tape. They kind of switch things up a little. They give a little bit more work to the rookies coming out of the bye. Now, this was a week 5 bye, so it's a little early for something like that. I will say, like, usually this happens around like week 8, 9, 10, something like that. It just happens to coincide with the bye week because teams have a chance to kind of reconvene, and kind of just like look at the tape and look at how the team is going. But nevertheless, man, Luther Burden is a supreme talent. There were beat reporters in the offseason saying that Luther Burden has a chance to be better than Odunze, better than DJ Moore. Just from a pure talent point of view, the dude is an absolute like baller. Does that mean something's going to happen this season that he's going to be able to jump essentially Zacchaeus? And he's also going to probably have to jump DJ Moore in terms of targets and opportunities to be relevant. But I want to see what happens, man. He's one of my favorite stashes coming out of the bye. People forgot him. He's on a lot of waiver wires. I mean, you guys can see here, he's literally on my waiver wire in my main league. I wish I had a spot to stash him. It's just a shallow league. I can't pick him up, but I really recommend that you guys pick him up just to see what happens. At the end of the day, man, when you're picking up players to stash, this is just my approach. You guys might disagree down in the comments, but I want to stash players that have like late season upside, right? If my starting roster is set, I have my 5 slots, my 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 flexes filled out. Nope, I'm not dealing with all the injuries. I have some depth. I have a couple of bench pieces that I can always slot in to one of those flexes. I want to take stabs. I want to take late season stabs, right? I want to get those Luther Burdens. I want to get the guys like Jalen Coker who have that late season upside, right? And there's a couple more guys on this list that I will name that have similar type of upside, so we'll get to that in a little bit. And now we move along to Isaiah Likely. He's one of the only tight ends I have on this list. And here's the thesis, man. It's pretty simple. He played 53% of snaps in week 5. He only had 1 target, 1 catch for 12 yards. To put it in perspective, Mark Andrews only had 3 targets. So this is just a game. I mean, who's Cooper Rush, dude? He's absolute butt cheeks. The man somehow was serviceable with the Cowboys last season. But now with the Ravens, he just looked absolutely horrendous, dude. They got sliced and diced by the Texans. And I think it has to do with their defense being horrible. This is a Ravens team, man. I will say, outside of like their core skill position players, they're just a bad team. Like their offensive line schemes very well, but from a talent point of view, they're kind of middle of the pack. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is out, so they're going to be struggling. But Isaiah Likely, nevertheless, man, the reason I have him as a stash is this tweet that I saw recently. Tweet from Dove Kleiman here. He says that the Ravens are reportedly willing to trade all-pro tight end Mark Andrews before the November 4th trade deadline. Many teams can benefit from him. Now, how real is this? How true and how possible is this to happen? I think it's quite likely, right? The Ravens are currently sitting at 1-4, dude, which is insane. I believe they're 1-4. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're 1-4. Lamar Jackson's going to be out until potentially after the bye. There's a chance they hold him out until week 8. It's in their interest, right? Why force him to come back? I mean, he has to. He's not going to play in week 6 already. Yeah, so he's 100% earliest he's going to be back is week 8. They could easily be like 1-6 by then, right? What is that? 2 games? No, I mean, the worst they can be is 1-5 with the bye, right? So Lamar Jackson comes back after the bye week. They shop Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely slots into the starting tight end role with a full workload, full snaps, with Lamar Jackson still there. I don't think they're going to hold out Lamar Jackson. He's still going to be playing for pride at that point. So he's one of my favorite tight end stashes. If you're looking for upside, if you're just starting like a random bust stop Magoo tight end, you're looking for kind of someone that can give you a little bit more late season production. Maybe let me take a stab. I want to fix this tight end position without sacrificing too much. I don't want to have to trade for a tight end. Likely is the guy that I would personally go out and pick up. And then we got Isaiah Bond next, another Isaiah. So he is currently only 21% rostered. In back-to-back games, he had 6 and 7 targets. Doesn't sound like a lot, but for this Browns offense, it's actually one of the very high. It's like I believe a 25% target rate based on how many passes Dylan Gabriel threw, or it's a little bit less than 25%. And in the Browns' first red zone trip last game with Dylan Gabriel, he was the one who got the end zone target, which he didn't catch, to be fair. But look, I will say this about Bond and about the Browns in general. Dylan Gabriel, he's throwing short passes all game. He's not really threatening the defense downfield. That could have just been that game against Minnesota, who do have a pretty solid defense. But the couple times he did throw deep, he looked like certified cat shit, dude. He looked like a fresh, steaming pile of cat shit. Some of his passes, bro, went like into the stands. I don't understand it, and they weren't even close to the end zone. Um, Look, there's not a lot of optimism, I will say, for the receivers on the Browns. Judy kind of looks like a non-factor the last couple weeks. He's not really doing a lot for us. So Isaiah Bond, it looks like they're trying to make him a thing, right? They're kind of force feeding him the ball. He only had 2 catches on those 7 targets. But, he's got a decent ADOT. He's getting the ball down the field. So anytime they do throw it deep, they are throwing to Bond, it seems like. And this is going to be an offense, man, where they're going to be really leaning on the run, leaning on the tight ends, and taking shots to Bond and sometimes Judy, right? I still think Judy's going to be somewhat involved. I just don't think he's really a fantasy option at this point. So Isaiah Bond is someone that I really like. Stash him. Let's see what happens, man. I want to see some production before I start putting him in the lineup. But when it comes to upside, When it comes to guys that can give us late season, like, rookie explosion upside where they really pop off at the end of the season, I mean, why not, dude? Why not take a shot on Isaiah Bond? Let me know what you guys think. This was actually a tough one for me, with how decrepit the offense in Cleveland looks and how Dylan Gabriel just doesn't look like he can keep a defense honest down the field. Next, we got Christian Watson. Now, look, owning a Green Bay Packers wide receiver is the second leading source of depression in America. So, why am I recommending Christian Watson? Why do I think that he's a solid pickup? He's coming off of like multiple injuries, back to back to back seasons. The dude has like one big leg and one small small leg. I don't know if he fixed his muscle imbalance or whatever, but then an ACL injury. So like, why? Why is this man on this list? Because we suck. We're bad. We're never lucky. We're horrible at fantasy, and we keep making the same mistakes because we have this carrot on a stick of Christian Watson, what we think he could become, what he used to be, right? Big play guy, fucking multi touchdown, kind of what Matthew Golden was brought in to do. Christian Watson was doing that before, right? So that's kind of the thesis here. He was limited in practice all week. He says he's 100% healthy. And look, man, I know it's already annoying to own a guy like Golden. Matthew Golden should be the alpha wide receiver of this team, but the Green Bay Packers seem to be adamant on getting every single person in Green Bay, in the greater Green Bay area, involved in this offense before they get Matthew Golden more involved. Savion Williams, get in there, bro. You get some touches. Malik Heath, you get some touches. It's like fucking the Oprah Winfrey show over here in Green Bay, which means Christian Watson's going to come back, coming off an ACL, coming off multiple injuries, having one big leg, and he's going to get 10 targets. Right? That's just the way it is, man. Matthew Golden, he has to sit in the corner and watch. He has to sit and watch everyone else eat, dude. And that's why Christian Watson, I think, is a decent stash. I know it sounds like jokes, sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I truly believe that Christian Watson is going to come in week one and out target Matthew Golden. It's all just to spite me for making Matthew Golden a my guy this season. In all seriousness, I do think he's a decent stash. It's a good offense. They throw the ball down the field. They do play action. They run the ball and they throw deep. That's kind of just the Green Bay motto. So if Christian Watson reclaims that X receiver role, which is like the sacrificial role, and then they move Matthew Golden into the slot to do a lot more intermediate underneath stuff, that's going to make Christian Watson kind of an interesting dart throw, right? If you're looking for like massive upside any given week, he's the guy that you throw in your lineup. He gets you 0 points. You come back to this video, you comment under it, you say that I don't know ball. I'm gonna be like, my bad, dude. I tried my best. But and then in another week, he might get you 20 points when he's on your bench. But nevertheless, man, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point. So next we got to talk about Jack Bech, who is heating up. He had 5 targets, 53% of the snaps. He went 3 for 27. This Raiders team is looking for options, man. They're looking for guys that they can throw the ball to. It seems that Geno Smith might be cooked, man. They wrote him off. He didn't write back, and they wrote him off again, dude, just to, double seal the write-off. But Jack Bech really isn't the most athletic wide receiver. He doesn't have incredible speed. He's 6'1", 214. He's kind of more of a big-bodied wide receiver. He's more of a gym rat. He's a cerebral player, a real route technician. First into the gym, last out of it, real scrappy. In other words, he is white. But there is some upside here for the Raiders because, they're seeking options, man. They're seeking players that can actually produce for them. Jacoby Myers, I don't know. The vibes are weird, man. Let me know what you guys think. I feel like he's just kind of being like pushed out of the game plan most of these games. He might be on his way out. They might be looking for a trade for him. Trey Tucker, he's doing a lot of the down the field stuff. He's more of the X receiver. And Deontay Thornton, his snaps have gone down all year. He's only played 47% of snaps last week. Maybe this is a wide receiver room that is headed toward the direction of a Jack Bech, Trey Tucker, Deontay Thornton kind of as your third wide receiver in 3 wide receiver sets type of situation. Because of that, I want to see what happens, man. If you're in a deep league, this is more of your really deep league stash. This is not somebody that I'd be picking up in like a 12-man league. You can potentially even wait a little bit more to see if his snaps continue going up. Like his snap rates have been kind of weird, like 6%, 7%, 24, then 10, then up to 53. So next week it could be 7 again, right? So we just really want to see what happens with Jack Bech, but he's scrappy, dude. He's a decent player. He's actually like a talented wide receiver, like all jokes aside. Next, we move to Isaac TeSlaa, another absolute gym rat, cerebral player. A dude, he played the most snaps this year, 34% in week 5, gets another I mean, holy shit, dude. Another touchdown on one singular target. Going back to the preseason, Isaac TeSlaa has like 63 touchdowns on like 40 targets. I don't understand how the man scores a touchdown, even when he's not even in the game. Khalif Raymond, he was limited in practice all week. Now, Khalif Raymond was already only playing like, 30% of snaps, 40% of snaps. He's a part-time player. It is Jameson Williams. It is Amon-Ra St. Brown. It is the run game. but they play the Chiefs up next. This could be one of the first games that we've seen since week 1 where the Lions might be in negative game script. They might be having to throw the ball a little bit more, and the Chiefs specifically are really good at stopping the run. So maybe the Lions are forced to throw the ball a lot more than they really like to, or a lot more than they usually do. And maybe with Khalif Raymond being out, or Jameson Williams kind of struggling to earn targets, again, could be because of game script. I'm not saying Tesla's going to jump over JMO, but maybe TeSlaa is just a mainstay in 3 wide receiver sets. And if he can get more than 1 target, he's going to have more than 1 touchdown, right? He's going to have every target he gets is a touchdown. So that's how we need to view Isaac TeSlaa moving forward. If he can hit the 4 target threshold, he will be averaging 4 touchdowns per game. And if he can hit 7, it's 7, 8, it's 8. There might be diminishing returns at like the 10 target arena, the 10 target range, where maybe he'll only be getting like 9 touchdowns per game. So listen, man, I might just steal my money from my grandma's purse and put an anytime touchdown bet on Isaac TeSlaa again this week, because I do think against Kansas City, they're going to be double covering Amon-Ra. They're going to be shadowing. They're going to be selling out to stop the run. Maybe TeSlaa pops up again for another touchdown. Again, all jokes aside, I do think he's going to be a serviceable option moving forward, especially coming out of that week 8 bye, where, week 9 against Minnesota. They're going to look at things. They're going to look at the charting of TeSlaa and his stats and his advanced metrics and just see that the dude's a playmaker, that he makes plays, that he gets touchdowns. He's making fantastic catches every single time they do throw him the ball. So I love TeSlaa as like a late season guy. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's ever going to be like a high volume guy. There's just too many injuries have to happen ahead of him for him to be relevant. That does it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for giving me your time. I truly do very much appreciate it. And if you appreciate it, a like is the best way to show that appreciation. Subscribe if you want to catch more. I apologize to anyone if this video was a little bit too goofy. We're just having fun here on a Friday. I hope you guys got some valuable insights from this, though. Make sure you guys join the Discord. Top comment down below. Dope little growing community. We're talking about pretty much every day. We're helping each other with sit starts. It's a community type approach where you can ask questions. You're going to get them answered by not just me, by everyone else in the community. And I'll also catch you guys on Sunday morning, man. We're going to do the live stream again this week. It'll start at about, I'd say 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Like an hour and a half, pretty much after the London games, we'll fire up the live stream. Make sure you guys do sign up for that, and I hope to see you guys there. Peace.